activation. Both these players 4-0.
I haven't covered much of the mirror match. I imagine that it devolves into a horror show of both players having Eldrazi Displacer and no one being able to move.
That's more or less correct.
Okay.
That's what's happening now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well.
Well, Dan has a Path to Exile, so things have changed.
Oh, okay, sweet. And Displacer fortunately says another.
Thank goodness.
Hogan cannot blink that out to save it.
Yeah, because if that wasn't what it said, my goodness. 11-4 in favor of Chelsea Hogan right now. Drew a copy of Drowner of Hope. Hi. That's a good Magic card.
And a very good answer in a way to Displacer because Musser can't really be displacing a Drowner.
Mm-hmm. All right, Thought-Knot Seer is going to be displaced. But it's important that the Thought-Knot Seer got displaced, obviously because Musser's at 4. But Dan has access to 1 Displacer activation, so this Drowner that comes post-combat is going to be a problem here for him. 2 Scions. Now, what I think he's got to do is displace the Scion.
Yep.
So there goes one of them. Time to untap, draw step, big one here for Dan. There's Nation Stirrings. Take a look at the top couple. There's a Displacer in there. There's also a Thought-Knot Seer.
And second Displacer is Insurance against a removal spell. And I believe Hogan is Hellbent, so I can't imagine the Thought-Knot's worth a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm.
So unless the size of the creature is relevant here, I'd imagine it's taking the Displacer.
Looks like that's what Dan Musser will select. 4 cards go to the bottom. Stirring is done resolving. He's even got another land. So what this means now is he can play a Displacer, and he can activate Displacer twice. Because he's got Eldrazi Temple plus a forest for 1 and 3 colorless lands for another one. So he's actually in a pretty good spot right now.
So I think the play here, I guess it's complicated. I was going to say, I thought the play might be Reality Smasher just blocking the Drowner, trying to trade that off, and let the Displacers manage the rest of it. That doesn't work, 1, because Hogan can tap down the Reality Smasher as we saw, and then 2, there's an Exalted trigger coming too, so that trade wouldn't even been available.
Interesting draw step here for Hogan. She picked up a Spellskite, which means that displacing has just gotten a lot more difficult.
Yeah, this is a big draw here.
Another bad sign here for Dan Musser, as the Spellskite is still on the stack, is, you know, that Drowner, you don't want to displace that.
Right. And he kind of needs to displace both of the threats here because they require a block.
Yeah, Spellskite might actually be the perfect draw because Musser's other way out of this bad situation is Path to Exile.
Yep.
Which Spellskite conveniently takes care of.
Although I don't know if Hogan is flush with all the blue mana in the world here. She is at 11, potentially taking a hit from Reality Smasher next turn, so that, you know, that her ability to pay life for the Spellskite could be a bottleneck potentially.
Got to displace this Thought-Knots here, I think. Let's see what the card is. Sky Spawner, exiled. All right, Spellskite in. Yeah, do you like a double block? Almost think you might have to.
Yep. And then leave the Reality Smasher back next turn and trade off?
Yeah, I think so, maybe.
It's a tough way to do it, but these Displacers may not be worth anything anymore.
Yep, there's your double block. Yeah.
It's painful, right?
The Spellskite is such a good draw right now. So now we're going to go over to Musser. Musser will draw. Didn't get it. That's a Stirrings again. That's a heck of a draw step. 3, 4, 5. Drowner of his own, which is pretty good right now.
But again, keep in mind that the Spellskite, again, complicates all of this.
Yep.
It's hard for Musser to manage everything that's happening.
So there's a Drowner. I think Musser has to take 1 to cast it from the Yavimaya coast. So we'll get 2 Eldrazi Scions here. We got quite an Eldrazi fight here. I think Smasher is clear to attack.
Well, with the tapping off the table, I think Musser's line here is just attack with Rally Smasher and try to chump block my way through the rest of this.
Sure. Big draw step here for Hogan. Whoa.
Oh, no.
Warship. We might be here a while.
Oh, no.
We might be here a while. All right.
So, let's go to the sideboard here.
I'll take a little looky-loo.
Yeah, I'm curious what the Muss Man has to get out of this one.
He's got one natural state. I don't think Elspeth. Natural state's not it. Never mind. That's not nature's claim. Can he enter your explosives for 4? That seems hard. He's got a Birds of Paradise in his deck.
Sweet. All right, still alive.
We have outs.
Assuming he has the explosives.
We have outs. Okay. Hiya. This just got a lot harder. Drowner coming in. You're at 1. What is this? Thought Not Seer. All right. Hogan will draw. Ancient Stirrings. Man, a couple good ones draw off the top here as Chelsea. 4, 5. Thought Not Seer 4 lands. I think it's worth taking the 4/4.
Yep. Creatures are good along with Worship. Because that's how that card works.
Gonna get you a raise.
Yep, thank you.
No problem. You earned it.
Some rust on my modern cover, you know.
Reality Smasher. Yeah, we're gonna do this now. Drowner.
Keep them coming.
Hot fire coming off Chelsea's deck right now.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
It's been some good draw steps.
Yeah. 2 Scions. Any good attacks we had? I don't think.
Not a huge rush for Worship.
Yeah, sure.
Take my time.
Feel pretty safe. So now what I think Musser's looking for is Displacer, sort of. Negate the draw. That probably matters.
Or hope that Hogan, taps the Yavimaya Coast or something.
It's damage.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Damage?
It's damage. Doesn't matter.
Fetch land.
Okay.
The fetch land's the out.
That's the hope.
That's the draw.
That's the hope. I might get a little cozy right now from Chelsea. Up a game, 18 minutes on the clock.
I'm not going.
Worship.
Not going anywhere.
Yeah. Might put my feet up, kick my shoes off. Gonna sit behind this for a little while.
There is a not a rule in Magic, but a good standard is if there is a creature matchup where the right card to sideboard in is Worship, the matchup is probably unbearable to play.
Couple of Ravnica dual lands into the battlefield tapped for each player. Musser, Sky Spawner, another Scion. Pass the turn back over to Hogan. She'll draw. Elspeth! Elspeth!
Oh my God. What a matchup.
People know they can die on turn 3 in this format, right?
Well, this is all on the sideboard.
Yeah.
I would assume.
Yeah, both players have an Elspeth on the board.
2.
Chelsea Hogan has 2.
Yeah. Hogan is ready for the mirror.
How's this?
Elspeth also good with Worship.
True.
For reasons.
True. Really good for reasons.
Yeah, because,
3/1 I hope we still have some soldier creature tokens. Yeah, I got to imagine this is going up. I mean, it could go down. It would kill a lot of Musser's stuff, but
nah, because there's still the Sky Spawner in play, and I don't want to have my Planeswalker just out of that.
Booster draft number 8.
Musser will untap. Musser will draw.
To the left of the event stage. Once again, if you are currently signed up and waiting for your booster draft to start,
does Musser want to try to go to combat?
Gideon banner to the left of the event stage.
Tap Sky Spawner.
And Hogan with some humdinger draw steps.
Couple gooders off the top.
Yeah. And the one card left over in her hand that Musser is probably assuming is a land is a negate.
It's negate, yeah.
It's negate.
No, it's great.
No, it's negate.
Yeah.
No, it's the best possible.
yeah.
It's the best. It's negate. That's my last one.
Smasher. Smasher. Smasher's going after. I don't think Smasher's coming in.
Well, Hogan's already used her Scion, so at this point, blocking with the Drowner is kind of a freebie.
I don't think Musser has a Noble Hierarch's no Exalted trigger here.
Yeah, I guess you could double up with 2 Thought Knots. Is also a fine block, but I'm happy to trade off. Whatever.
All right.
I'm not really looking to give Musser draw steps at this point because he's not beating this over the long haul.
Draw step. Noble Hierarch. Good.
And now, this is somewhat relevant since now everything is lethal with Exalted triggers. So Musser may have to make a move with the Drowner, though he can probably just block out, so.
For right now.
For the time being.
But Elspeth is going to keep letting loose 3 soldier tokens.
Yeah, again from Hogan's spot, especially with negate left over in her hand, I don't think there's a really compelling reason. If she wants to squeeze out some value on an Exalted attack, I think that's fine. But there's no rush to shove everything in.
I'm okay with this attack.
Yeah, this attack looks fine to me. I mean, there is some pain because it's a Thought Knot Seer, and you're hypothetically worried about, cards Dan can draw. But he's going to get some value. Hogan, rather, she's going to get some value out of this attack.
Double block. Keep in mind the Thought Knot Seer that's attacking is a 6/6. Looks like Thought Knot Seer is going to be placed first. Damage. They'll trade. Each player will draw a card. Yeah, so non-active player draws first, then active player. All sorted out. Brush slam the draw there for Chelsea Hogan. Don't forget to use that Elspeth. We want some more soldier tokens, I think. Yeah.
It's worth at least considering, is it worth going down with the Elspeth? But with Musser at 3, I think Hogan's well served by just going wide here. Also, the more loyalty you put on that Elspeth, the more Musser has to make efforts to attack it down, and then he has fewer blockers on the way back.
Musser has drawn a copy of Thrag.
Magic player Aaron Harrell.
Just what we needed to get a little more difficult.
Make your way to the Gideon banner at the side event registration area.
I mean, if you're Musser, there's the hope that Thragtusk gives you enough time to whittle down Elspeth in the air. That is a hard way to do it, but
there is the hope. Brushland and Swagtusk. 5 life up to 8. Pass a turn back. Hogan. Reality Smasher.
Draw seems fine to me. I mean, again, from Hogan's perspective, if she can induce some trades, eventually she gets to a spot where she can go wide and attack in 1 turn, and she squeezes a lot out of these these one-at-a-time attacks because she gets the Exalted triggers as well.
Mm-hmm.
And she's still clutching the gate, so she has insurance against Musser ripping and engineered explosives or some sort of disenchant effect.
Yeah,
also
some sort of random
his own
spell-based top
planeswalker,
deck,
whatever. Yeah.
All right. In 2 Exalted Trigger, 7/7 Trampler. Rawr. Looks like Swagtusk and 2 Eldrazi Scions looking to hang out here.
And all these trades look good for Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
Musser can try to do this with the Drowner or the Thragtusk, whatever, but Hogan's converting one of her cards into a lot of Musser's battlefield presence, trades off, gets a little bit of damage for her trouble, still moves the Elspeth up, and just wearing Musser out the whole time sitting on negate.
Ty Anderson Beast token to the house from the Thraktos dying. 3 more soldiers placed on the battlefield from Elspeth. Musser will draw. Didn't get a great look at it as here comes the Sky Spawner. Just a breeding pool past the turn back. Elspeth down to 3, going to be going up to 4 here in just a moment. Another copy of Reality Smasher. 3 blockers, 3 pretty big attackers, so not there yet.
I think Hogan can probably do one more turn of Reality Smasher, squeeze some Exalted Triggers, get whatever trades I'm going to get, take the Elspeth up, then next turn move into combat and kill you with everything.
Yeah, there's also this whole, you know, if Drowner wants to try to target it, it targets the Spellskite instead, which is nice.
Yep.
And she's got some blue mana kind of floating around there because of those Noble Hierarchs. So Smasher in. 2 Exalted Trigger, 7/7 Trampler. Double block. I think I want to kill the Drowner. So does she. Yeah, just grinding her down.
So now
grinding Dan down, excuse me.
Now Hogan moves up. She's got 3 more tokens. Musser's at 6. Barely a board left.
Musser will draw. It's a Sky Spawner. This one's going to go after Elspeth again. But it's so much easier to do this, too, when you've got this negate insurance.
Yep.
Boom. Sky Spawner. Eldrazi Scion on the way. Hogan on tap. She'll draw. Windswept Teeth doesn't do much here.
So the plus side here for Musser is next turn, assuming that he doesn't have to block with the Sky Spawner this turn, actually gets Elspeth off the battlefield with attacks. The downside is that's only a small piece of what's going on right now.
Yes.
And Hogan will have, I believe, 8 or 9 soldier tokens next turn available to attack with.
I think it might be 12. There's a block with all the knuckleheads.
Unless Musser's got some huge draw in his deck, I think I'd prefer to chump because now he's off pace to be able to take care of the Elspeth. But if he feels he's at least drawing to something, he's got to give himself a shot.
Well, he's going to untap and draw now. Windswept Heath, Bird of Paradise in the land. Chelsea Hogan going to win this match over Dan Musser. 2-0. The Banthel Eldrazi mirror goes to the player on your right. And for Chelsea Hogan, it's a 5-0 start here in Indianapolis.